First, live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Welcome back to Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Midler, live here in the newsroom. And, you know, it is spring. It is nice outside for a lot of people. And, you know, I'm sure we're going to get some more rain. But right now is the time to start thinking about getting outside and enjoying all of the great things that the Northwest offers. In particular here, we're going to be talking about Oregon and all of the different campsites and places that you can go with the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department. Our state parks are pretty varied across the entire state, all kinds of different terrain, different places to go. And camping is one of the things you can do there. So we're going to discuss the camping reservations part. We've got Joe Niehaus from the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department who's going to join us to talk about that. This is an interview that I did earlier today. We're going to run it for you right now with some tips and tricks and advice on what to do to try to get some of the best spots that you can get. All right, well, thank you for joining us today. Just by looking at your backdrop there, I want to be out camping right now. But to talk about that, we're gonna get into that and give everybody some advice and, you know, what to know when it comes to camping in the Oregon State Parks. Before we do that, Joe, would you mind just telling us a little bit about yourself and your role there at the Oregon State Parks?
Sure, Greg. Thank you so much for having me on here. We love talking about camping and doing everything outside. My name is Joe Niehaus. I'm a senior policy advisor for Oregon Parks and Recreation Department. And just like you said, everyone has been wanting to get out lately, and we're so excited to see them out there.
Yeah, I mean, some of the nice, I mean, yeah, we had some rain and all that, but a few days of sun, it gets everybody wanting to be back outside like that. Well, to talk about that, you know, can you give us an idea of just how the parks work as far as camping, you know, say for somebody who's never gone out and done it before through the state, like how the camping system works?
Yeah, of course. We have so many options, and we often get people where camping in a state park is their very first time sleeping outside. And we're so excited to welcome them, but we get people with all different experience levels. So the way you can do it is first you have to pick where you want to go. And that might be the hardest part because there's so many great places. We have over 250 parks in Oregon, but not all of them provide camping. So maybe you just want to have a fun day trip down somewhere. But if you do want to, we have overnight camping options all around the state. Up and down the Oregon coast, all the way up to the Washington border, at Fort Stevens State Park, down to the California border, down to Harris Beach, Willamette Valley, Southern Oregon, Central Oregon, Eastern Oregon, everywhere. So once you know where you want to go, you can also pick what type of stay you would like. If you're new to camping, maybe you would like to stay at one of our cabins or yurts, so you don't have to bring as much gear with you. But we also have tons of camping options for people with RVs that want to do car camping or that good old traditional tent camping also. And then if you're a little bit more glamorous, I'm so sorry. I just really want to plug our historic hotels, which are also options for people that really like a more cush experience. They can go visit places like our French Glen Hotel down in Southeast Oregon, to like Wolf Creek Inn by Grants Pass, or even Smith Creek Village at Silver Falls. So there's just an option for everybody.
That is a lot of options. I didn't realize about the historic hotels. I didn't realize that was part of that. So you have several of those that people can go to?
Yes, we do. And then on the other side of the spectrum, if you're a really hardcore recreationalist, we have picker biker camp-in sites where you just come in with all your gear on your back. And a lot of people do those too.
Nice. So are we talking like miles in, like on the biking camping?
Yes. So they'll do, they can hike in through camping sites, or they'll bike in, stopping from a campsite to campsite. It's quite popular on the Oregon coast.
Nice. Okay. All right. So there really are just a ton of options that people can go to. Well, when it comes to getting one of these camping spots, is it reserving online? Is that mostly how they work, or are some of them more of a first come, first serve basis?
Well, we have both options, but that first come, first serve is really, really limited to certain parks, particularly during the off season. So the best thing you can do is to create an account online at stateparks.oregon.gov. And creating an account is super easy. And then you can book your stay similar to you would for like hotels, Airbnbs, and other types of experiences. But the hardest part can be getting the site that you want, especially between like now through till October, November, because it's so gorgeous in Oregon for so much of the year. And our campsites are super popular. So if there is a site that you want, we open them up 6 months in advance at 6 a.m. And a lot of our experienced campers have hard set, like they're ready to go. They have their accounts on and they're clicking away trying to get the site that they want. So when people are new, it can be a little bit intimidating trying to find a site when it feels like everything is booked up all the time.
So looking at it, you need to be thinking 6 months in advance. So right now, whatever the day is, 6 months from now, tomorrow, that's when those are going to open up?
Yes, but people do cancel. And if you don't get the site that you want, don't worry. You can sign up to get an email alert, and then you'll be notified if they do cancel, and you can book that. And a lot of our popular campsites, they go quick. But like I said, we have tons of different options all around the state. So if you don't quite get the one you want, it might be like a really good opportunity to try somewhere new.
And yeah, and thinking about it in that aspect, you look at places like Beverly Beach, in Newport, and just how that one fills up so quick. So say that does fill up and somebody wanted to go there. What's a good way to look at other sites if you're not sure where those, what other options there are, if you haven't been to some of these places, but just to understand, like, okay, if I want a similar experience, there's also this one, that's 20 miles away or something like that. How would you go about doing that?
That's a great question. Our website automatically makes suggestions for you at nearby sites or that offer similar experiences that do have sites available, or maybe dates that are closer to what you were looking for. But another good way is to just sort of explore our website. We have all different types of maps, and we have articles that separate some different types of camping experiences. And we have fun social media posts too that talk about these topics, especially as some of our parks close for construction. And then when they reopen, we'll do some fun features with like utility upgrades. Maybe not things people see all the time, but there are some really good things that happen, like when our sewage system and water system gets upgraded. So you don't have to worry if like there might be some problems while you're camping.
That's good to check on that and make sure that you're not going to be going through that. Let's see, along the camping lines too, for people who are experienced in using the park system to camp and say they haven't got the reservations yet or whatever it may be, what are some of the big changes this year?
Oh, there have been so many changes. Like I just mentioned, we have lots of site improvements. That's really exciting. And maybe it's not stuff that people can see all the time, but people may recognize when there's a new restroom building or the trails are really kept up. Running a state park campground is really similar to running its own small city. We have all of these utilities that we have to watch out for. We've got water, sewage, etc. Lots of paving activities that happen, everything to kind of provide a very accessible, safe, and meaningful camping experience for our visitors. So we've got improvements throughout the state, even things from like smaller construction projects to big ones. So we really encourage people when they do see these upgrades that they get excited about it as much as we do. But another thing that's really impacted the visitors is our cancellation policy. I just talked about how hard it can be to get the site that you want sometimes. And part of the issue was we would get people who have a little bit of experience camping with us. So 6 months in advance, they'll actually book up a bunch of different camping reservations. So as they get closer to the date, they can kind of choose the one they want and cancel the ones they don't, because we had a really nice and flexible cancellation policy previously. And that led to people showing up to parks and seeing a lot of empty sites, and that doesn't feel good when you know how hard it can be, and why are these just sitting? That doesn't make sense. So we did make our cancellation policy a little bit stricter so that people don't hold on to sites and that they can be reserved by more people and there's more opportunities to camp.
Nice. And just to clarify too, what are those cancellation policies as far as to when you made them stricter?
Now the refund is based on how close to the date of camping that you cancel. So if you're holding on to a site for a long time and you cancel the week before, you're not going to be able to get a full refund. You'll get a percentage of your refund back. Before it used to be you got the full refund minus the reservation fee. And part of that is also we are having to see a little bit more of the difficult changes to our visitors. There's some fee increases that have happened over the past year. And those are tough. Like, it's never fun to ask people for more money, but it does take a lot of money to run our state park system. And our state park system isn't funded through tax dollars. So it's run off of our user fee dollars and lottery and RV registration. So in order to keep everything running and making sure we have the proper upgrades and keep providing good experiences, we've been increasing our fees, and people have definitely noticed.
Yep. I mean, the cancellation policy makes total sense. So that's how, anything kind of is if you're holding on to those for a long time. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. For people who are going to go camping, what are some basic tips and tricks that you would recommend, no matter what kind of experience that you're going for, as somebody goes out to go camp?
Oh, there's lots of rules when it comes to camping in state parks, but generally the golden rule applies. And we really ask people to think about things like leave no trace, keeping your dogs on leash, so that everyone around you can have as good of an experience as you are having. Some of the things that we really see a lot of where our rangers have lots of interactions with, are not even about rule infractions or things like that where there could be citations, but just about safety. So we really want people to stay on the marked trails. We don't want them getting lost. And then to come prepared. We have wild weather changes all throughout the state. So bring your water bottle, wear layers, and do a little bit of research before you come out to the parks. We have tons of information on our website, and things can change pretty quickly. So make sure you're checking those park pages.
Great advice. And when it comes to, park rangers and, when they're out there, making sure people are safe and all of that, what are some big things that people do that maybe they shouldn't be doing or that they should be thinking about when they're there in the parks?
Well, there's a variety of activities where people can get super excited and maybe they indulge, or they start getting very adventurous, particularly if there are barriers in places. We don't want people crossing those barriers. There are things like cliffs and mudslides, and people can get really hurt or stranded. So those are particularly things that we ask people to be careful about. We have some rule changes coming up that deal with drone use, so that's another thing that could have some natural resource impacts with some of our bird species and other animals that we're trying to protect. And then when they land in places where they're difficult to retrieve, that's a bad day for everybody. So when we talk about recreation and what people are doing, we just really ask them to think about it in ways that you can tread on the earth lightly. You really help us preserve these places. We know that you care about them as much as we do, and whatever you can do, leave no trace, take nothing and leave nothing but your footprints. And it's just a way that we can all work together to help make sure that these places are here for generations to come and not just for us today.
And talking about that, making sure places are there for generations to come, it's no secret for everybody, Oregon's already parts of the state are in a drought. We had a very low, snow, almost historically low amount of snow coming into the mountains, and that's going to lead to potentially a pretty dangerous or potentially dangerous fire season. And so when it comes to that, when it comes to fires in campsites, what are some of the regulations about that, or things that people should know to make sure that they're staying safe and not accidentally lighting something on fire?
Thank you so much. That's such a great question. We are very concerned about fires this year. Land managers across Oregon have been trying to get messaging out about fire safety early. For us and our campgrounds, we really, really ask that people are alert about their own campfires. It's so fun to have a campfire while you're having this camping experience, but it depends on the wood that you're burning and where you are. So definitely burn the local wood. Don't bring wood in from other places because that alone could have other invasive species and negative impacts. And then make sure you're keeping really hot small fires contained to areas where we allow campfires. Don't start making them outside of designated fire rings. And then if you're not going to be there to watch them, please put them out completely. So it's not just like smother it with a little bit of sand. You want to put water on it, stir it, and repeat that process until all of the coals are out. So it can be a little bit of a challenge when you start your next fire, but you can take that as a personal challenge and it'll be another fun game. But it is so, so important because so many of our fires are human caused, and we really want to make sure that we're not getting ourselves into dangerous situations. Conditions change quickly, and a lot of our campsites and campgrounds are going to have fire bans too. So if we don't allow fires, please don't start any campfires in the campgrounds.
Absolutely. All very good things that everybody should be thinking about. And a lot of organizations are talking about this too. Just this, I mean, any year it's a danger, but this year, right now, yeah, people really need to be careful on that. Well, Joe, anything else that you think is important that we didn't bring up?
Man, we covered a lot. I really appreciate the opportunity to come out here and talk about state parks. I can talk to you for hours more about this. Like I said, everyone can go to our website to find more information. And we've heard a lot from our visitors about the increase in fees, and we know that it's hard. We've also been very surprised at the support we've been getting from the public and from the communities around us, understanding that it takes all of us to keep our special places going. And we're so excited to be welcoming people back for the camping season. So have fun out there and let us know if you have any questions.
All right. Well, thank you so much, for being here. I always like talking about it. I do want to get to wherever that is in the background that you have. And so I need to go camping now. But Joe, thank you very much for being here on Fox 12 Now.
Yeah, of course. Have a great day.
All right. A big thank you to Joe, who joined us there to talk all about camping. And we have more coming up here. This is Fox 12 Now. We're live streaming here out of the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with more. Thanks for joining us.